So, how do we create schools that are truly inclusive for every single student? It's a huge question, right? Especially when it comes to tackling something as complex as racism. And let's be real, there are no quick fixes here. This is a deep, structural journey. Today, we're going to look at a framework that basically gives us a map for that exact journey.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This is a shocking headline, but it's a reality. When something like this happens, it needs to be seen for what it is, an urgent safeguarding concern. Kids don't just stream this stuff up. They're learning from the world all around them. And this really sets the stage for why we absolutely need a better way of handling things.
Because the traditional punishments, they just aren't working. Think about it. When a child is sent home, they often go right back to the environment where they might have picked up these views in the first place. There's no learning, no restorative work. It's just a cycle that doesn't help anyone. We need a response that actually builds understanding, not one that just kicks the problem down the road for a day.
So, how do we make that shift? How do we get away from that simple, knee-jerk reaction and move toward a response that's more thoughtful, more constructive? Well, this is where having a map comes in. A guide that can help the entire school community move from just reacting to actually reflecting and growing.
Okay, check this out. This comparison lays out the two paths so clearly. Just imagine a racist incident on the playground. The harmful response on the left is, well, pretty dismissive. A quick, "that's not nice," and the kid is sent away. Incident forgotten. But the progressive response on the right, it's all about being specific and using it as a chance to reflect. It's a total shift from just punishment to a real, genuine opportunity for education.
And the tool that helps us get there is called the 6 Stages Framework. The best way to think of it is like a roadmap. It's a developmental model that helps everyone, from the students to the staff, take a moment and just reflect on where they are in their own journey toward inclusion. And this isn't about judging anyone. It's all about awareness and growth. All right, let's dive into the framework itself. As we go through these stages, try to think about where you, your team, or maybe even your entire school might be on this map. The goal here isn't to slap a label on yourself, but to just get a sense of where you are right now. So the framework starts down at -1, harmful. You can see the quote. It's not safe to talk about identity in this school. From there, you might move to 0, resistant, where people are just scared to talk. Then we start moving into the positives, curious, reflective, and empathetic. But the ultimate goal, that's +4, equity-driven. And just listen to that quote. Our school doesn't just talk, it changes things. That's the real game changer, moving from just learning to actively changing the system.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in a real school? Because this framework isn't just some poster you hang in the staff room. It's a dynamic tool that's used for training, for student reflection, and for driving real change in the school's culture. So, where do you start? Well, one of its most powerful uses is giving staff a shared language to have those really tough but totally necessary conversations. For example, in a training session, teachers might get a real-world case study to break down.
And this is the exact case study they use. Staff get together in groups, they read this, and then they talk about it. What stage is this school at? Why do you think so? What could have been done differently? It takes the whole framework from being abstract and makes it incredibly real, getting people to think about things they've seen or done in their own schools. But here's what's really cool. It's not just for the adults. The framework is brilliantly adapted to empower students to think about their own journey too. Let's take a look at how that works for different age groups. For secondary students, it becomes this self-assessment worksheet. And it's not a test, there are no right or wrong answers, it's just about being honest. A student can read these statements from -1, I sometimes say or do things that exclude or hurt others, all the way up to +4, I stand up for others, and think, which one sounds the most like me right now? It gives them the actual words to understand their own behavior. And then for the younger primary kids, the language is much simpler, but the core ideas, they are exactly the same. So instead of equity-driven, it's I help others and stand up when something's not fair. It totally meets them where they are, focusing on ideas they get like kindness and fairness. It just goes to show how flexible this tool really is. So, after using this map for self-reflection and training, what's the end goal? What's the destination we're all trying to get to? What does a truly progressive, inclusive school, one that's at that +4 stage, actually look like in the real world? It really boils down to these 4 key things. It's not just about having some policy tucked away in a binder. It's about that policy being a living, breathing document that everyone uses. It's about a curriculum where every single child can see themselves reflected. It's a place where student voices aren't just listened to, they actually shape decisions. And maybe most importantly, it's where learning for the staff never stops. It's a continuous journey, not a one-and-done training day.
And all of this leaves us with one final powerful question. This framework isn't just for some abstract school out there. It's a tool for all of us. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, or a student, it's a map for your own reflection. So the question to really take away with you is this: what stage is your community on its inclusion journey? And what's the very next step you can take?